Welcome to the video on how to judge an ECC competition. If for whatever reason you need to contact us for any assistance, please feel free to do so by emailing contact@Etobicoke Camera Club at gmail.com. So, in order to start the judging, you'll have to log on to our website. Please open up a browser and go to etobicokecameraclub.org. Once you enter etobicokecameraclub.org, you'll be taken to our home page. At this point, you will need to log in using the credentials that were set up for you. The login button is found on the top right-hand side underneath our ECC banner. Make your way up to that and click the login button. At this point, you will need to enter the credentials that were provided to you. I already have my credentials saved, so I'm just going to click on the name. My judge's name is Mike Jackson, so I'll type his credentials in and click the login button. At this point, your menu items will have changed, and you'll see your ID up in the right-hand corner indicating that you are a judge. You'll also notice that there is now a judge's menu item, which is what we want to make use of. So hover over judge and scroll down to the menu item called Judging Queue for Website Judging and click on that. You'll notice that there are a range of dates that are defaulted. If the range of dates are not appropriate for the competition you're judging, then simply change the dates and then press refresh competition list. The competition that Mr. Mike Jackson is judging is listed down here. We've created a nature test competition. Simply click on the select button to enter the competition and scroll down and you'll see information about the competition. At this point, you don't see any images. So what we want to do is it's paramount that you keep an eye on this section. If at any time during the competition this changes, the images will actually just go away. So please make sure that you always have combine all levels checked in here. As soon as you do that, you'll see that the images do appear. Let's come back to this and look at some of the key areas on this part of the screen first. In this section, we summarize all of the judges that are judging this competition. And you'll notice that Mr. Dwayne Wayne has completed 20 of 20 images, and he has provided critiques on 6 of the images. We will be dividing the critiques amongst the 3 judges. So for instance, if there were 24 images in total, each judge would get 8 images to critique. If you feel like you'd like to critique on more, that's up to you. Please feel free to do so. At the end of the judging, we will review this a little later. You will check this little checkbox off indicating that you have completed your task. So now let's scroll down and have a look at this section. Again, these are the thumbnails of the images that are included in this particular competition. This is a sample competition, so I would imagine the competition you're judging will have many more images in it than the 20 that have been provided in the sample. So let's have a look at some of the pertinent information. If the critique is required, it shows up with a red box around it. And the scores that you enter will show up in the yellow boxes. If you hover over any particular image, you'll be given information about the name of the image and instructions on what to do in order to view a larger image. So let's start by entering some scores. You're best to enter your scores first and then come back and critique the images. The reason being is that you can clearly see on the thumbnails that the image critique is required because of the red. highlight. But when we go into an image, and I will show you on this one, there's no real indication that the critique is required at this stage. Plus, we do divide the critiques amongst the judges, and you will be provided with a list of which critiques you need to provide. So you won't be critiquing every last image. So that's why I ask you to do the scoring first, then come back and critique the images for the ones that you are responsible for. So let's exit here and come back to the first image. And I would suggest you just do them in order. Please do not change the competition level, and um, don't change to advanced, intermediate, or superset, because we ask that you judge all images as one big bundle, not by our particular divisions. So again, please combine all levels as your selection up here. So let's move down to the images, and I will start a few and then complete the rest so that you're not watching me judge 20 images. Now that we're in here, you would probably want to see your image in full screen. F11 on your keyboard will get rid of the top part of your screen and provide a full screen view. Let's have a look at some of the buttons and titles at the bottom of the screen. You will enter your score in the first bucket. If you want to provide comments and enter a critique about this particular image, you could click this button at this stage. If you want to go to the prior image, you would click on this button. If you want to go to the next image, you would click on this button. If you want to exit and return back to the thumbnails, you would click on the exit. Right now, we're positioned at image number 1 of 20, and the title for this particular image is below the image. So I'm not going to bore you with scoring all 20. I will score the first 3, and then we'll come back once the 20 have been scored. So we click on, give this one an 8, and I'm randomly picking numbers. So our scores, by the way, are 1 through 10 per judge. 3 judges total give us a maximum of 30. But again, you will score from 1 to 10. We do allow for fractions on the half. So you can score 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, so on and so forth. So for this one, for instance, I'll give it a 7.5. Next, this one, I will give it a 7. If in fact this is an image that you would like to critique and it's on your list of images you're responsible for, you can at this point, if you choose to, enter the critique. We ask that you do not use this top section or the bottom section. You can ignore those. You would simply come into here and enter your particular critique. So this is an awesome web. Anyway, enter what you feel is relevant in the comments only. Again, please do not use this top section or the bottom section. It's not required. Then you scroll down and you click on the update button. Please never click delete. We do not want you removing any of our images. So click on update, and you'll notice that when you did that, the expectation was you were providing your grade, your score, and your critique at the same time. Unfortunately, when I did it, I had provided the score and gone into critique. So if you're going to critique, make sure you score at the same time. Otherwise, your score will be removed. So I'll come back in here and put in my 8. I believe that's what I had entered. And go to next, and I will provide one more score. Give this one a 9. It's a beautiful image. And I will exit. All right, so let's summarize what we've done to date. So far, we've done 4 images. On this particular one, you'll notice the red box has now been removed because a critique has been provided. You'll notice on this one, a critique was not provided. Therefore, the red box is still there. We'll come back and do our critiques once at the very end. So I'm going to now cut here, put in the scores for the remaining items, and we'll come back. I have not completed everything to prove a point. You'll see that the last image does not have a score. You'll also see that the red boxes appear where some critiques have been missed. If we come back and we look at the summary, you'll see that 19 of 20 images have been scored for the judge, Mike Jackson, and only one critique has been entered. Again, you are not responsible for all the critiques. That will be shared amongst the judges. At the very least, we ask you to critique the images for the list we provide you as an individual judge. Now, I am prematurely going to indicate that I have completed my work in order to show you that the system will actually come back and tell you that you have not completed your work. So we typically ask, once you have completed everything, to come up here and check the My Scores, rankings, and critiques have been completed for the competition levels. So you would check that, and then you would get a warning indicating that you have marked all scoring is complete, but you still have one unscored images. So if you see that, that's your indication to you that you didn't quite complete the task. So please come back, uncheck this. You'll notice the images are all missing. Again, we have to come back to this box and click on Combine All Levels, and the images will now be returned. So please note your checkbox is gone, and your images are now back, or your thumbnails are now back. I will come back into this one and I will give it a score. Let's give this one a 9 and exit. So now if we come back, we see Mr. Mike Jackson has entered 20 of 20. Now, you could leave at this point, but we ask that you please complete the critiques that were assigned to you. So what you would do is you would come through the list looking for the names of the images that we provided for you that you should be providing critiques for. Let's assume you were provided hyena and the rest spot, and you could ignore the rest. So from here, you can go and click on the C with the red box around it. And again, we ask that you do not complete this section nor the section at the bottom. So please ignore, there is no requirement. We do not actually even use any of that. But we do ask that you do is complete the comment and type in information that you feel would be relevant for this image to help the author of the image improve the next time. So I will simply type in, this is a lovely image. Well done. And again, I'm not going to continue, but provide whatever feedback you feel is relevant. Scroll to the bottom and click the update button. And you'll notice that the red box around here is missing. If by chance you want to enhance the comment, you can always go back in and make your changes and click update. So let's return and do the same thing for the second one that you were responsible for. Again, do not touch this area nor the bottom area. Just come in. I will simply type in the word comment, but obviously you would provide something a little more relevant in here. Click the update and you'll notice that the red box is missing. At this point, you've scored all images and you've critiqued everything you want. You may want to review everything. So at this point, you have the opportunity to sort your list. So if I look at the drop down, you could have sorted the images in random order or by score. Let's pick scores. This is your opportunity to compare one image to the next and make sure that you balanced your scores correctly. Again, if you choose to change any particular score, you could go back in, look at this, and change your score accordingly. Or if you choose to, you can change your scores on the thumbnails. I would advise you to go in and have a detailed look at the larger image. But if you know for sure that you want to change a score, you could do that from this screen. Let's, for instance, change this to a 9.5 for whatever reason. If you do that, you can do a bunch of wholesale changes on scores on the thumbnails. Again, I would advise you to do it from the full screen, but if you choose the thumbnails to do it, you must press Save Updates. Otherwise, your changes will not be made. So in this case, I will press Save Updates. At this point, you've completed the task of entering your scores and your critiques. It's now important, before you exit the application, that you click on My Scores, Rankings, and Critiques, this particular line 1. You'll notice now no error came up indicating that your work has in fact been completed. So you may now log out and email the competition director indicating that you have completed your work. If by chance there is a discrepancy of more than 2.5 points between the lowest judge score on one particular image and the highest judge score on the same image, the competition manager will contact you and ask the judges to revisit that one particular image to see why there is a discrepancy and possibly correct the difference in score. That's it. You're done. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at contact@Etobicoke Camera Club at gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns you may have.